Felix here, and welcome to this pre-market live, and I'm trying to figure out why I'm out of focus. Why am I out of focus? That's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, you have to deal with me, take me fuzzy today. Winston's back there, down here even. He's not fuzzy. My intention for the next 10, 15 minutes or so is to explain to you the 10 things that really matter today as an investor. And we've got some really massive headline news about witching and all that kind of stuff happening. Got the tariffs, we've got good news, we've got bad news, but ultimately, I think we're in a place where we have a tremendous opportunity. And if you want to understand what that tremendous opportunity is, and I put a little poll out here which says, what are you most worried about? And 2/3 of you have answered missing the next rally, then I want to give you how not to miss the next rally here in the next couple of minutes. If that sounds like something you want to learn, you want to be part of, like right rally in the chat. And yeah, I don't know why am I blurry? Weird, isn't it? Backgrounds and focus. I know, it's really odd. Hang on 1 second. Let me press the focus button. Oh, no. Let's put that over the top. That might work. Does that work? No, still blurry. Really odd. Really blurry now, right? This is funny. All right. I know, here we are. We're black. Look. I'm no longer fuzzy. That's good, isn't it? So let me share my screen with you and we'll get straight into it. If I'm sharp for you as well. Now then, or you can also write sharp in the chat and I'll see that I'm crystal clear for you on your side as well. So everyone's talking about this. There's all these headlines. People are making these videos on something called triple witching, and nobody really seems to know what that means, judging by how they write the headlines. Triple witching is something that they're talking about. What's going on with the pen here today? Everything's a bit fuzzy today, isn't it? So what does it mean? Well, we have a shitload of options expiring today. Like a lot, like a couple of trillion, 4.7 trillion. Seems like a lot, doesn't it? Winston Cam, I've ordered one. Seriously, so many of you wrote yesterday, my Winston Cam. You'd much rather see this guy down there. Where is he? Down here. We had a beautiful hike today, especially, which is why he's quite sleepy today, sleeping very peacefully back there. But back to this, what does it mean? It doesn't mean what everyone else is telling you what it means. And I'm an options trader. I've got 4 retired market makers on my team. We actually know what this means. And it means that the market is going to move more. That's all it means. You don't know the direction. It doesn't tell you that. Now, what it does tell you, the options market, is we are very likely to stay above 5,600 because that's where the support sits. That's where the market makers sit. Let me get a green pen here. And you can look this up in Trade Vision. That's green support on the S&P, 5,600. We're very likely to stay above that. Now, should we drop below it, what will then happen? Well, you can also look that up. We will drop to, where is it? There it is. There she is. Do you see what I just did there? That. You see that little red middle finger there? That comes from our friends at JP and Morgan, biggest sort of bank out there. And that's their trade. And you can see that trade. It's enormous. It's huge, some might say. 41,000 options on the S&P, which is a lot of money. I did the calculation on that the other day, didn't I? So the S&P is worth 6,080, what is it? 6,000, 5,000, what is it? 5,600 something, right? 5,660 right now. Every option is 101 of those contracts, and they have 41,000 of those open. That's a lot of money, right? So that's a JP Morgan size trade. So if we do drop below 5,600, which is unlikely, then we would end up here at 5,565 because that's where JP Morgan sits and they basically move the market. So have you written that down? Have you taken a screenshot of that? I'd recommend you take screenshots and notes of some of the stuff I put out here for you because my plan is to hit you with lots of facts and lots of good stuff so that you really know what the heck's going on out there. Sounds still funky. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a sound guy in here on Monday. He will hopefully fix that for good. So have you looked at this? All right, massive crash of stocks on sale. And tell me if this chart makes some sense to you. Just write a number 1 if the chart makes some sense to you, and I'll tell you what I think it means. So the Magnificent Seven, the largest 7 stocks, their valuation has dropped significantly to now 25 times PE. So if I drew a straight line across here, then you could see we're at the level we were at in 2020, in 2019, in 2018, in 2017. It's kind of weird, right, that we haven't really gone up in terms of valuations for these stocks. So they're on sale. Right? It's one way of looking at it. Now you could think, oh, it might go lower. It might go lower, but they have gone down tremendously from a valuation previously of about 32 times or 33 times. So if you were happy to buy it at 33 times profits, why wouldn't you buy it at 25 times profit? Right? Just rhetorical question out there. Like, let me know, why you wouldn't. So just from a valuation point of view, we're in a much healthier position now than we were in previously. Tesla is down for the 9th week in a row because numbnuts keep selling it. 9th week in a row. That'd be the longest seller ever for Tesla. So it's the longest seller ever for Tesla, which is pretty extraordinary because it's not really about fundamentals. It's not really about sales numbers. Elon put out some cool stuff yesterday, which will get the Tesla crowd excited, but the Tesla haters obviously won't be moved. So why is the only color always blue? Yeah, I know, Rodney. I'm with you on that one. Mike is tripping again. Sorry about that, my friends. We will hopefully have that fixed by Monday. So when do you buy the dip? Do you buy it here? Or do you buy it earlier? Do you buy it later? Like, do you not buy the dip? Like, isn't that the big question, right? So I can give you the answer on Tesla, but ultimately that isn't going to help you very much because what you actually need are the rules and confidence and conviction in exactly when to buy. And I'm telling you right now, it's too early. It's too early. We don't want to buy this yet. And the simple explanation for that is, and I'll show you how to get the more detailed explanation as well. That yellow line there that I'm drawing next to in parallel, right, that is the 50-day moving average. When that slopes down like that, bad things happen. Bad things happen to good stocks sometimes. And you can have conviction, you can have all of this. But ultimately, if you want to make money and not be emotional about your investing, well, you'll make a lot more money. So if you want to learn those rules, the link down below, it's called felixprehn.org/get free. And I'll teach you those exact rules. Like, what are the rules? Well, the first thing is when to buy. So you have a very, very high likelihood of a massive rally. And then second, when and how to sell before you become a bag holder. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you didn't sell up here, right, up there, or up here, or even up here, you're now a bag holder. So your money is like locked into something that isn't making you any money. Your money could instead be in something that's actually making money, right? That's the thing. It's about managing your money rather than just buy and hold till death do us part. And that works very well. If you want to get some cool indicators or breakouts and all that stuff as well, you can. I mean, on Tesla, for example, we've done quite nicely here. We're beating buy and hold by about 97%, right? So how do you get access to that? You go to TradeVision, felixprehn.org/TradeVision, and you get yourself the indicators that actually work and data that the banks are jealous of, because that's our intention. So a crystal ball would help. It would, but you don't need it. I mean, yeah, it would be really nice. I keep getting one, but Winston keeps eating it. There he is. Where's Winston? Down there. Winston, why do you keep eating all the crystal balls? He actually eats all balls. I have a big massage ball. It's like this big $150 massage ball, and he's walking around with it. I'm like, dude, there's so many balls. Why that one? And he's like, I liked it. It's nice and heavy. And then he dropped it on my foot. So which is brilliant. But all right. So let me give you some more good news then. And I mean, tell me, who's going to learn the rules? Who's actually going to learn the rules? Or do you just think, oh, the rules can't possibly work because you've been indoctrinated by people who want your commissions? Who's going to learn the rules? Just put a hand up or put a one in the chat if you're gonna learn the rules. Now, while you do that, and let me know though if you're going to learn or if you're just going to procrastinate and just hope that somehow luck will do it for you. It won't. Then let me show you this. Retail, that's you. It's been very, very good to us. They've been buying almost every single day. So the blue bars are retail buying, and that's good. Dave says rules are awesome. Jonathan, Tate, and Rasmus, and Tattooed, Trekker, Winston. Carl is buying, ruling rather. Gen X is ruling. Don and Carbon and W and Matt and Charlie. Liam, I'm British. I love rules. Okay, loads of you guys are learning rules, which is amazing. So yeah, keep doing that. That's how you get better. So the blue bars are basically you buying because you are retail. I'm retail too. Winston is retail too. So that's good, right? So the dip buyers are alive. They're well, and they're making up. They're really supporting this market. Who else is buying? Computers. Computers are our friends, honest. These are algo funds, also known as CTA funds, and they had massively sold off here. And now they're coming back. And that's what I told you, right? That's what I told you they'd do. And they're doing exactly that. So as long as the market stays sort of flat to slightly positive, they're going to keep buying about 35 billion or something like that. Quite a lot of money. Mike says, I know the rules and they work. Brilliant, my friend. ANG wants to go long and short with stop losses. Keep the one that wins. You would equally lose on the one that you'd lose one and you'd win one, and they'd be the same basically. So you wouldn't really win much from that. You're just, yeah, you lose the same amount of one that you buy on the other one. Doesn't really take you anywhere. So robots are buying indeed. Now, Gundlach, or Gundlach, as the Germans would say, is sort of a bond king. Jeffrey Gundlach, and he's saying rate cuts are coming in June or July. And it just means rate cuts are coming closer. There's a lot of people out there now who are expecting a rate cut in June. And I think it's quite possible. And it's going to be good. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be big. It's going to be shiny. It's going to be the best rate cut we've ever seen. I've been watching too many Trump clips, right? So that's good. And why is that good? Well, a 1% cut, you're not going to get 1% initially. What does it do to your, say, your growth stocks? Say you have an ARK sort of type portfolio, you know, all of that stuff. It'll probably give you about a 9% boost for your stocks, your growth stocks. It's pretty good, right? So the Fed has the power to, make you some money. Now, here's more good news. The season is about to get beautiful. It's really out today. It's like spring colors, all the flowers, and the birds are chirping, and the sky is blue, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And that's exactly what happens. Sort of halfway through March, we get seasonality, and seasonality does this through the year, and we are here, as the French would say, and therefore. A lot of people look at this chart. A lot of people look at seasonality. Therefore, they get a little bit more bullish in the second half of March. Therefore, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's sort of as simple as that, really. Isn't it, Winston? Winston, are you with me on that? I get the feeling he isn't paying attention. What do you think? I think he might be asleep. We did a 10K hike today, so that might have something to do with it, which is a great way to clear your head, by the way. Now, for those of you who are a bit worried, who's a bit worried about the crash? There were like 37% of you, so I wanted to give you something for the warriors. The warriors should buy this. What is this? Let me explain. These are the recession stocks. Recession. And then these up here are your boom stocks, okay? Boom. What's with this pen, Microsoft? Somebody tell Island Bill this pen doesn't work. It's probably not the first person who told them that, right? So what have we got up here? Why am I using the same color? That's pretty moronic, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna make boom green. That makes sense. So it's semis, chips. This is from Goldman Sachs, by the way. I didn't make this up. They list SMH, which I think is an ETF, regional banks. So regional small banks, and that's KRE. And, write this down. Are you taking notes? Also oil, and oil services particularly, they list OIH. I believe that's also an ETF. That's one. And then for the recession crowd down here, I wanted the red pen. What do we got here? Well, we've got the S&P, so the S&P. There's obviously SPY, there is VU, there are many others. There are materials, which is XLB. That's materials, that. We got industrials, XLI. They tend to do pretty well in that scenario still. What else we got? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Financials, maybe. XLF, perhaps. Financials. That's sort of the conservative thing down here. And out here, the boo crowd are for people who think things are going to go to the moon, right? Gay ETFs, which is the gay ETF? Which ETF identifies as a homosexual? Tell me where that comes from. Thank you for saying that list. For those who cannot see the chart, we are one, my friend. You are a heart of sight, if that's a word, right? And I think it's amazing what you're doing. You're watching your money and everything. Well, you're not watching your money. I'm sorry about that. That was not intended as a joke or a pun, but I know you're a kind soul. So this is what I wouldn't be buying. Apple has lost confidence. Sorry, Tim Cook rather has lost confidence in the AI team. So he's apparently letting go of the guy in charge of the AI team, and he's put the guy in charge. He was in charge of the Vision Pro, in charge of the AI team. Somebody explain this to me. So the best qualified guy you have in Apple is the guy who gave us the Vision Pro, the biggest product flop of the century. And you're now going to put him in charge of failing AI product because he's such a freaking genius. That's your plan, right? So why do I not like this? Because everybody owns Apple, right? You buy the NASDAQ, you buy the S&P, Apple is in everything. It's bloody thing. So Tim Cook continues to under-deliver. Apparently, the promise for AI features is sometime next year, probably. Amazing, isn't it? I mean, really, it's just when you take the founders out of these companies, like you're kind of left with not a lot, right? So there is more good news, though. There is always more good news. Alpha Charlie, oh, you guys are so dicks. DIX, that is an option. Well, that's a dark pool indicator, which has apparently found the market bottom. You see what I did there? Okay, so let's not be completely silly here. Micron, the memory people, have delivered an earnings report which is above guidance, which is good, and data center revenue tripled from a year ago. And that's pretty good. And then they launched something called the 1 gamma DRAM node. I don't know what that means, but I presume it's some sort of very quick memory thing. No idea. Anyway, DRAM, I know what that is. I don't know what NAND is either. Demand is on growth in both data center and consumer-oriented markets. And we're on track for record revenue and significantly improved profitability in 2025. Doesn't exactly scream the AI rally is over, does it? So that's pretty good news. Founder letter is best, Scott. Yeah, they just have more interest in it, really. I don't know, Tim Cook, I don't really get this chap. I don't really get the chap. So what are you going to buy, my friends? What are you going to buy today? Well, come and learn how to pick those very stocks yourself. We'll have a look together at free market. So put on your glasses. It might get red. I'll also be super happy to answer any questions you have, walk through your favorite stocks and so on. Just hit me with it in the chat down below. So let's have a look at the, actually, I want to have a look at this. Dark pool trades yesterday. This is yesterday, the last couple of minutes of the day here. You see all the red? You see all the red? It's all red, isn't it? All the big trades. These are all big institutional trades because these are all millions of dollars. Like, it's usually not you and me who puts $3 million on some puts or something. You see, it's all red. It's all red. And that gives you a little bit of a sentiment indicator. And you can, of course, also look at individual stocks here. You know, Meta, bearish, 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 you know. You can filter, obviously, by stocks too. All the Russell ones are still bearish. Coins, bearish. Like, everything freaking bearish. AMD is bearish. Everything is bearish. Amazon's bearish, mostly. So what does that mean? Well, I think the big event, and the Nasdaq's down 1% right now. VIX is popping up again a little bit today, and it will give us a bit more volatility today. I was expecting that because of the big options expiration today, so it'll get a bit more volatile going into next week. Pre-market is ouch. It's uniformly decided to be red this morning, so everything is down, and I think it's a little bit of a maybe what Powell said wasn't quite as good as we thought. Maybe we got a little bit carried away. But I think what it's really about is, when's the second? The second's coming up in 10 days, right? So trading days wise, it's like six more trading days until Freedom Day. Now, what is Freedom Day? Freedom Day is the day when Donald Trump, the orange chosen one, will tell us what tariffs he's going to put on the world. And it could be good news, it could be bad news, but nobody knows, you see. It might be that he's going to announce a bunch of free trade agreements with like Europe and Canada and, you know, the sombrero Mexicans or Canadians or whatever, and, you know, the rest of the world. It's all possible, right? Maybe he's got some amazing deal up his sleeve and they kept it quiet, in which case the world and the markets are going to go, woohoo, let's rally and let's party. Or he's just going to say, oh, we're going to put 25% tariffs on everything and we might raise it to 60 or 80 or 100 or 1,000%, and we do want Greenland, in which the market's going to go, and it's going to dip. So until that date, until you know what's coming, I think volatility is going to pick up somewhat, and we might have some you know, pretty red days here. So why am I then entitling you saying it's the best opportunity ever? Because I think it is. Because I think we're near a bottom, and maybe we'll go a little bit lower, but I think this kind of area we're in is pretty good. So I'm happy to nibble, and I'll keep nibbling. What am I nibbling at? I am not nibbling at individual stocks because they can go, the ones I like at least, could go down more. So I'm nibbling on the index, which is the safest thing to do. Why? Because the index on the very long term keeps going up, and it's not a fun thing to do. It isn't an exciting thing to do, but it's just like a very low risk way of making some money. Already got all the big trades open, all that kind of stuff. Seems like you can do a Trump impression. What day is that again? A Freedom Day. The day when America will be free again and everything will be wonderful. It'll be the biggest day in the history of your country. And it's a day that people will remember and talk about for generations. Or not. I'm just joking, obviously. 2nd of April. He thought about doing it on the 1st of April, but it seemed like it might be a joke that way. So it's the 2nd of April for that reason. So the orange chosen one's amazing, and then, you know, I take the piss out of the politicians, regardless of you know, color. We don't discriminate here against orange ones. This was a stock I was looking at actually earlier. I was making a video and this popped up, and I was actually thinking, this is a shorting candidate. I'm not recommending, and you can't see my screen, can you? Here it is, and this is a screen from Trade Vision, which is our software, and yeah, this is really ugly. So why? Consultants. And another one is Accenture. I haven't decided whether to short this yet, but I'll consider it. Accenture also looks bloody horrible. Actually, looks like, oh, what's going on now? Did I crash this or something? Let's try that again. ACN. There she is. Also pretty bad, right? Look at that gap down there, massive volume. So yeah, basically, it seems that Elon knows that consultants don't do anything. I've got some friends who are consultants, so I apologize if you're watching. Apparently, what you spend your life doing is pointless, meaningless, and can be replaced by AI much, much cheaper. So the US government spends billions and billions of dollars on consultants who then collect more and more billions from contracts that don't happen and take forever. And it's a huge business. And they generally don't do very much. I have a friend / acquaintance who was a very senior consultant at one of the big firms. I shan't mention which one. It might have been McKinsey, but I'm not saying that it is. He was telling me he was about to pitch the next day one of the largest like beverage manufacturers in the world, literally huge company. You all know them, and he was going to pitch them the next day as a very senior person in that firm that I haven't mentioned, and. I have a wine business, if you didn't know that. I have an alcohol business. We sell ethanol and all that kind of stuff. He was asking me about the business, and then I was telling him who does what and what the market looks like and tariffs and taxes and so on. And he was taking notes, and that was going to be his pitch the next morning, like 9 a.m. And I believe he got the contract. Didn't know the first thing about the industry or any of it, but he could blag his way through it. And he's undoubtedly being paid very, very handsomely, and the firm will receive a lot of money for it. And then his team are, they're all 21, nothing against 21-year-olds, but they tend not to know that much about running multinational companies, right? Advising on that. So yeah, very odd business consulting, very well paid if you can get the job, but complete waste of time, I think. Righty ho. Isn't Palantir going to hit these guys' business? Yeah, exactly. If you watch my video coming out later today, that's a little bit the gist of it. And yeah, I think Palantir is going to mop up that. And the funny thing is that all these consultants, Accenture and Booz Allen and all these guys, they all have partnerships with Palantir because they thought, we could take this amazing product that actually works and we could sell it to people and we could just charge more money on top. But now the government has at least realized we don't actually need the consultants. We can just go direct to Palantir and get the stuff that works, and then we don't have to deal with these nitwits. So that's going to save the government a lot of money. Did you do any options trading this week specifically? No. And I tell you why. This is why. It's been a very, very volatile time. I don't do anything when it's very volatile. I mean, okay, I shorted some VIX, but I think that was last week. I didn't short it. I used sort of options to do it. And that's potentially very risky if you don't manage your risk properly. If you know what to do, it's amazing, it's sweet, it's wonderful. But if you don't know what to do, it would blow up your account. So that's why I don't recommend it to people mostly. But yeah, that's what I did. And other than that, I've just been nibbling on the S&P really. So been very boring. But the lesson is that I've learned in many years trading now and investing that you make most of your money when you do nothing. Yeah. And that's how you preserve and keep your money as well. Scott used to be a consultant. Brilliant, isn't it? I insult my students and I tell them that what they've spent their life doing was pointless. I mean, there are obviously degrees within it, but you know what I'm talking about, right? There is a lot of that. There's a lot of it used to be that just CEOs or boards didn't want to say, we know we need to fire people, but we don't want to be the ones to say it because it makes us unpopular. So why don't we hire the consultants? They'll tell us to fire people. And then we say, I'm very sorry, consultants told us. And then if it all goes horribly wrong, then we fire the consultant and hire a new consultant. That way it wasn't our fault. I think that was generally the approach. And government has sort of taken that on board too. Government is full of consultants who just are lobbyists or achieve nothing at all. So ding, ding, ding. The market's open. I think the market will crash today because of expiring options. Mr. Chopra, you weren't here at the beginning of this, where when I said to you, it has zero impact on the direction of the market. It just makes the market move more next week. But no, it doesn't tell you anything about today's market. Scott, the point is I got out and got free. And that's tremendous, Scott. And congratulations on that. Maria, selling VIX, I find hard to figure out how to do. Yeah, it's one of the more complex things. I would become a great stock investor first. I'd then become an options trader. Then third, I become a VIX trader. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but the reward is tremendous. And the best time to start is today. So start with the stock stuff. There is a masterclass down below. That's going to be a great start, and you're going to need that for everything anyway. So Mac and cheese. I'm a CEO and I think consultants are a waste of money. That's been my experience. I agree with you. Complete waste of money. I used to want to become one, actually. And then I worked in a startup and they won, I think it was an Accenture prize for like best startup of the year or something. So we got sent the Accenture crowd and they were crawling around for 6 weeks. And we all very quickly realized that these people know nothing about what we do. And they're a complete waste of time. And that the meetings are just pointless. And thank God we're not paying them. So yeah, that's been my experience as well with consultants. AI will commoditize consulting and many other functions. Yeah, you just don't need them. You don't need them. Scott, there you got some. You're getting some friends there and some support. And yeah, Scott's doing it tremendously well, and he's just learning, and he's just realizing, hey, you actually got to sit down and learn this stuff. That's how you become really good at this. And rather than spending your entire life trying to figure out how to earn more money, you just make the money you already have or you are already bringing in, and you make that work for you. And then suddenly, bingo, you're free, right? And you can do lots of glorious things. Like we went on a glorious hike today. I can show you. Just to inspire you a little bit. Absolutely amazing today. Where we go? There we go. You see if you can see that. And you see that? That was today. That was sort of the first little hill. Look how happy he is. The colors are a bit off. It's actually lovely and green. So yeah, just it's just super nice, and you can do things when you want to do them. You know. Here's another one. Here's little Winston. Isn't that just glorious? And you can just do that and just chill, and there's no one there. Why? Because it's a Friday morning and most people are wage slaves. Most people are at work, right? So we're very lucky because we managed to get out of that. Chris says, Felix Prehn works. That's very kind of you to share that, my friend. And go Winston. Oh, you can't see the screen. I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing with you and I was just talking to myself, yet you're still here, which is very nice of you. Here is little Winston, for example. This was this morning. It's a really nice hike. It was not that high, like 1,500 feet or something. Not super high, but very beautiful. Look at the views there. All you see is just green and mountains and water, and you're just like, soak that up. And hardly met a soul. Met a couple of people who were hiking and camping up there, but yeah, really nice. Is there value in using squeeze momentum indicators? Yeah, I think it's a little overrated. Occasionally can be useful, but I don't need to use it very often. Winston Cam, please. Yeah, actually, I've actually ordered one. We're gonna get one. Winston's more fit than me. Actually, I'm trying to get him a little bit fitter again. He used to be really muscly because we just did a lot of hikes. So I've got him back on a hiking schedule. I'm very lucky. I've got really amazing people who help look after me and family in Winston, and they basically go. They go hiking with him every single day. So he hikes every day. He plays with his friends every day. When it gets a bit hotter, he goes swimming every day, which is amazing. So beautiful. Alrighty, my friend. Chris, you're super kind. All right. Any stocks you want me to look at, or should we just talk about kittens? We can also do that. And let's have a look at some of our sort of popular favorites here. Palantir is it's down 2.2%. Not significant, because why? Well, you see the pattern, right? You see the pattern. We're basically going sideways pretty much. Right? That's basically what we're doing. So we're still in that same zone. So that doesn't really mean a great deal. Whereas the support basically we're stuck between $80 and $90, and that's the options market that pins it there. And you can see. Maybe I can share something with you. It's a little bit more advanced here today. Okay, that green bar there means there are a lot of call options at 90. That red bar here means there are a lot of put options, and that basically pins you in that zone. And the most options in the middle are at the moment, expiring today, by the way, around the $85 mark. So that tends to pin the stock to $85. Right now we're trading at 84, 83. So you get so much information from this when you understand it. That is massively helpful. We give you the support and resistance lines, and that's obviously a little easier to understand. Right, so those pics are from Hong Kong. Yeah. That's Hong Kong. Hong Kong is beautiful. If you know where to go, people always think it's all just like skyscrapers and all that, but it's really not. It's really like a lot of. This is Hong Kong too. The color is a bit weird on this recording, but it's actually really, really green. He's just happy when he's up there. Very, very happy when he's up there. Or here. He loves it up there. A lot of cows up there, wild ones. So yeah, it's a beautiful spot. It's just people, well, you need to get out there. It's a UNESCO geopark out there. It's really, really beautiful. So we like doing that during the week. Now, Nike, what happened? Well, Nike is going to get hit by tariffs. That's what they said. It's going to reduce margins, and they're selling less trainers. The margins aren't great, so it's just like bad. Now, I think there comes a point when they've got a new CEO. This thing was trading up here, right? How much is it down by? 63%. It's quite a lot for Nike. And we very beautifully called the rally up here, right? But you need your exit rules. There's so much bad news in this. All the previous earnings were terrible. It's a good brand. Inventory is down a bit. I think there will be a rebound to this, but this isn't it. So they basically said, yeah, tariffs are going to squeeze our margins. Now, interestingly, they're not going to raise prices. So again, shows that tariffs don't necessarily cause inflation, which is sort of good all around. But yeah, Nike in a really tough spot there. So Greg, you looked at that IHS Holdings yesterday. Chart was perfect. I was up 5%. That's very, very good. Greg, my friend, just make sure you understand your risk rules, right? Have you got an automated setup that'll kick you out of that trade? If you don't have that, you will very, very, very likely lose money. So that's really the key thing there. Have you been to Smuggler's Cove? Yes, I have. I've been to most little crooks, nooks and crannies around Hong Kong, because we were here for a lot of COVID, and we hiked like probably once or twice a week for like 6 to 8 hours. So we really went absolutely everywhere, which is really, really good. It's a beautiful place. Zim, some of you are asking. Not really doing much. Not really doing much. I'm still saying I'm waiting for the entry. I'm not seeing it yet. I just think technically this isn't here. If you're wondering what that means, just watch the masterclass. Learn the rules. Like, learn the rules. It's much better than me telling you, oh, this is why on this particular chart. Much better that. To me, it's below that 50-day moving average line, no volume. It isn't really going anywhere. So I would therefore I would not buy this yet. 12 hours ahead or behind New York? Ahead, my friends. So that it's the evening here. Automated setups are a must, says Jago. Absolutely. Crooks and nannies. Yes, that's the one. AVGO. Yeah. Okay, what's it doing? Well, it's consolidating, which is something, which is basically meaning it's going sideways. And it needs to go sideways, usually for a while, before it starts breaking out again. But what's the one thing that I don't like about this chart? What did I say about the previous chart? Does anybody pay attention? What's that yellow line there? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you know what that line is. 50-day moving average line, right? That's what that yellow line is. And you don't want to be below it, and you don't want it sloping down. Sloping down is bad. Okay, so at that point, I don't buy it. Very simple. I only buy it when it's above it and when it's sloping up. 20% dividend on Zim. Yeah, I know. They've got some money to throw around, those stocks. Thanks for all the 50-day people there. You're paying attention. I like that. I like that you're learning, my friends. What's the future like? The future is glorious. Always. Lots of you guys, no volume, less than 50-day. Brilliant. Okay, you guys are getting it. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's why we do this. That's why we do this. What else have we got here? Sony. Why do people keep bringing up Sony? Is it just one person, or is there something going on with Sony that I'm not aware of? What happened to Sony? There she is. Oh, that actually looks quite nice. Ooh, whoa, 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 wow. That looks very nice. Very, very nice. Look at that volume. What's going on with Sony? Any news on that? They sued the University of Southern California. That can't be it. No, that can't be it. But yeah, that's a thing of beauty, isn't it? She is rallying. She's pumping. So why is this beautiful? Anybody know why is this beautiful? Give me one or two reasons in the chat why this is beautiful, and I'll give you mine. So the first thing is what happened to my pen? It's got a nice funky color pen there. So the first thing is that here is the 50-day MA, right? 50-day moving average line. It's sloping up, which is nice. We're above it, so let's check. We have a gap up here this morning, which is always a good thing. That's a nice positive thing. We've broken through the resistance. That's another wonderful thing. And volume is like off the charts, right? Brilliant. So what's the only fly in the ointment? Waiter, there's a fly in my soup. There's always a fly in everybody's soup. High volume. Okay, guys, you guys are already getting it. Amazing. Volume over today is brilliant. Yeah, so and then that here is the high, right? We're exactly at that level. That is going to be resistance. So you want to take that out. So that's just the only fly I see in that ointment is exactly that. Now, the other thing with Sony is that there are a lot of freaking gaps here all over the place. So this is a very volatile stock. That might have something to do with the fact that it's an ADR. So it's a foreign stock, you know, damn those foreigners. And therefore, maybe a lot of the trading volume happens in, I don't know, is it dual listed in Tokyo or someone like that? Probably, right? So it's pretty up and down. But it's from a chart point of view, it looks pretty good. So far, it's going nuts in a good way or not in a good way. Let's have a look. Really, 1.1% down is nuts for you. You must live a very sheltered life, my friend. Welcome to some growth stocks. This is just, you know, there is something here, which is there is a nice little pattern here, right? That nice little pattern there. So if I give that a bright green color there, you can see that, right? That's kind of good. Now, we have a lower low than yesterday. We're dipping a little bit here, but not significantly. But what's the problem with the rally? Does anybody see the problem with that rally? Anybody see why that's not particularly wonderful? Let me give you a tip. This down there is volume, my friends, and there isn't very much of it. You could also have a look at the moving averages, and it's the 150 that we are slightly, ever so slightly above, and we kind of want to be a little bit higher there, and then the 50 is still coming out. So it's not brilliant, it's just a little bit of optimism. No volume? Seriously? Volume's cut out for some of you. Why is that? That's weird. Pretty weird. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, would you put a 1 in the chat so I know you can hear me? A lot of you guys are writing volume in the chat. I don't really know why. I know volume. Sorry, you're talking about the chart. Okay. I thought you were talking about my usual mic setup. You see how our minds work? We focus mostly on ourselves and not the general conversation. So thank you for that. Winston wasn't any help there either, was he? That's a happy dog, isn't it? I love that when he's exhausted at the end of the day. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for all the ones. Thanks very much. The volume on the chart. Okay, so you guys are thinking about the chart. I'm thinking about other things, obviously. Now let's have a quick look at pre-market. I mean, not pre-market. I wanted to have a quick look at Doomberg, but also see if we've got, okay, here we go. This is the options flow, the big trades of the day. So you can see here a couple of seconds ago, minutes ago, and so on, what's coming in. Gives you a little bit of an indicator, right? These are just the big trades. So these are just the institutional trades. And you see how they are almost all bearish. The day kicks off here, right? Bearish. They're pretty much all bearish. So, yeah. gives you a bit of a sentiment indicator, right? And you can, oh, you can't see the screen. Sorry, guys, here it is, here it is. What's with me today? I should probably join Winston there in his nap. So this is where 6 minutes ago here, where the market opened, and it's all bearish, all the institutional options flow, millions and millions of dollars of trades. And, the last one here a minute ago, 3 minutes ago, and so on. And these are all bearish, right? All bearish. The only green one, there is somebody selling some puts, which might be closing a position. So yeah, this gives you a little bit of an indicator there into dark pools, which are the private trades that the big institutions do. We get access to it live, which is super, super cool. So you can check that out. There's a free trial to Trade Vision. You get access to it for a week, and you can play around with it too. felixprehn.org/Trade Vision. Link is also down below. And then let's have a quick look at Bloomberg. Let's have a look at US headlines. London Heathrow is shut. That's a terrible airport, isn't it? The Brits they really can't infrastructure, can they? They really can't. Nothing works in that country. NASDAQ 100 set for longest weekly slide since 2022. Ooh, that's positive. Vandalism draws GOP criticism, but of course Bloomberg's in favor, probably funding the bloody thing, isn't he? Of course, I didn't mean that. That was a joke. That was not serious. The man's got lawyers all around him. So Fed says Trump can't fire. It's true. I don't think he wants to. Powell is a Republican, card-carrying Republican. People seem to not realize that. The man was appointed by Donald Trump, right? It's like, okay. Anything else? Anything else? Nothing huge. It's all positive about Elon, isn't it? It's the whole publication has just become, oh yeah, by the way, we hate Elon. Trump's app shutdown is a gift to Mexico's cartels. Okay, never mind. Are we buying the dip yet? I'm nibbling on the dip. The dark pool trades. It could be market makers on the other side. Options are a funny world. You don't necessarily have me buying and you selling. You can create options. You can. If I want to buy an option, somebody can create that option. They just write it. They create it, and that's usually a hedge fund. And they're not therefore short. They just hedge that position, so they are neutral. That's the way it works. And they're called market makers. I've got 4 of them on my team, literally on our coaching team. And it's a little bit of a complex, weird world of it, but that's really what drives most of the stock market. When do we start winning? We start winning every day. When you start winning? When you learn, when you get better, when you just study a little bit every day to get better. That's how you start winning. Are we going to do paper trading in Trade Vision? Yeah, that's a thought actually, and I think it is on the list somewhere. I'm not quite sure where it is on the list, but as part of our trade tracker, that is, I believe, something that we are working on somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where that is. You can put it into Trade Vision as a request. Just click up here into feedback, and just put it in here as an idea. And we do see those. You guys can also vote on these, which you guys do. Obviously, some are more popular than others. And the custom moving averages, for example, I think that's a good thing. For me, that's a nice to have, but still, yeah. So you can vote on stuff, and I do. You can see some things are really, really, really popular, and then obviously we build those first. Then something that's a bit random, right? So that's cool. Trump shutting down the education ministry. Does this affect SoFi? Not really. No. I mean, SoFi should generally benefit from student loans coming back. People have to pay student loans again. Now, a lot of the big universities are suddenly giving free tuition to people who are, whose families are on like 100 or 150,000 or so a year, which might reduce student loan demand. And that's quite frankly a good thing, because those institutions have been taking the fucking piss, if you're honest about it, right? They're sitting on tens and tens of billions of dollars, and they're charging you like 180K for tuition. Like, what's wrong with that? Education should not be a profit maximizing endeavor, in my opinion. So that's a good move. But yeah, we'll see. The Ivy Leagues, yeah. All right, guys. Any other questions, my friend? Any other questions? Tempus. That's the Pelosi stock, right? Well, what does that say to you? You gotta learn when to exit a trade. I mean, look at this. It's literally 3 textbook trend lines that you could have drawn. Something like that. There's another one. You want to set a stop loss, and on something as volatile as that, you're going to want to change that every day, and then you exit. So when you buy, well, you buy the real breakout here was that one, right? That was really it. So you could have bought somewhere here at sort of 46 or so, and then you could have exited somewhere up here at 80 or at least the high 70s. That would have been a nice trade. Problem is, most people buy here, and then they're still bag holding down there, and that's the wrong approach. So my goal is that none of you will ever do that again, because you will learn the rules that I give to you in the masterclass, which is down below at felixprehn.org/get free. So when is VIX high? Above 20, generally speaking. Trend lines are subjectives. Moving averages are maths. I think trend lines that connect 3 lows are pretty objective. Yeah, I think they're pretty objective. On something like this, you can't trade a moving average, really. It's too volatile. I mean, even a 20-day one, I think, wouldn't really work. No, you exit far too late. So if you're looking at really, really volatile stuff, you need trend lines. You definitely need trend lines. Tilda, how do you set up a trading stop? Your broker should have a function that's called trailing or trading stop. Any major broker will have that. And they'll have a little help page that'll allow you to do that, or you could just type into YouTube how to set up a trading stop and then your broker name, and that'll tell you how to do that. I don't know what broker you're using, my friend. Alrighty. $10 MA works. Yeah, maybe, but it won't give you. You mean as an exit? 50-day as the entry and 10 as the exit. Maybe. I like a trend line. I think it's very easy to draw. It's very simple. I always think the simplest is best. Who do you trade with in the UK? Johnny there. My UK students generally use either interactive brokers. Webull is now available, or also Tasty Trade. Those are usually the brokers that they use. FedEx is 10% down. Yeah, that's a crummy business, isn't it? That's a really crummy business. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. So I'm going to go and join that guy there, which is Winston. He looks pretty exhausted, and we're going to enjoy the rest of the day. I hope you do the same. And if you want to join me live next week, I'll be back at the same time. I will also put out a video tomorrow where I just take all the thoughts on the day where the market's off and record a video of what I expect for the coming week. More volatility would be my summary there. The market's going to move more next week because we have a big options expiration today. We don't know which direction, but it's going to move more. And then I think we're going to get some more fear build up going into Freedom Day, which is the 2nd of April, when Donald J. Trump, the president, will announce tariffs on the world. So that'll be fun, right? Lots of fun, lots of opportunity to make money. And in that week, honestly, between now and then, are you think or swim in the UK? Okay, brilliant, Matt. Honestly, between now and then, I would do very little. I'm going to keep nibbling the S&P, and I'm not doing any trades. I'm not doing anything. I might take some profits on my VIX trades. Maybe, maybe not. Depends a little bit how the market moves. But I'm doing very little. And people sometimes get frustrated with me when I do very little, but That's how we make money. It's not about activity. Activity is the stuff that they taught you at school, right? They're like, you got to be busy because they want you to be a worker bee. But in the reality, in the real world, where it's your money and you want to set it to work, you want to put it to work in the good moments. Next week is not a good moment. That would be my advice here. So I wish you a